Hey, you ever hyperfixate on something for a bit, pushes to the back of your mind for a while, but then something happens and it comes back with full force? That's me with this project. See, back when I was in my final year of secondary school, instead of studying for my final exams like I was supposed to, I was instead cooking up a potential webtoon. And man, did I cook. I made a bunch of characters who I wrote about and drew often. I'd RP these characters with friends in person in a notebook. I'd fill out alignment charts and tier lists, make Pinterest mood boards. I was locked in. Then I just kinda fell out of it. I went to university, made other blurbles to toss around in my head. I still think about them from time to time and doodle the characters in my notebooks, but nothing really serious. But recently, one of my old secondary school buddies visited. If you're watching this, hey girl. And I found the notebook where I wrote all my old character notes. Then I thought, hey, I should come back to this sometime. So, here we are. Today I'll be revisiting two of the most significant characters, as well as general lore for context. But first, I'm 9B Soul. You can call me 9, like the number, and welcome to the tea party. I like to draw and yap about the silly little guys I make. If that sounds like something that interests you, stick around, let's hang out for a bit. Now that introductions are out of the way, let's start with the lore is what I've changed up the most because, well, it didn't really exist before. I just had the basic premise and everything else was just kind of a shrug and go, I don't know, fair. It's still kind of like that, but with a bit more flair. So, the lore goes a little something like this. The story is set in a world similar to ours, but with one key difference. Since time immemorial, for 10 years at the turn of each century, supernatural phenomena occur. From plants growing overnight, to strange lights in the night sky, to even apparitions. Many unusual events are reported to happen during the years of wonder. But, by far, the most unusual thing is that the children born during this period are said to carry a spark within them. As they grow up, they will begin to develop unexplained powers that manifest differently from person to person. Nowadays, the general consensus is that these superpowers are a blessing to the world. However, some still hold the old belief that powers would sooner or later cause untold, irreversible destruction. So, yeah. I originally conceived the story as a group of teens attending a school to learn how to use their powers for the greater good, featuring a protagonist who didn't receive his powers until later on in My Hero Academia. It's just like, straight up My Hero Academia. To be fair, I didn't even know MHA existed until I was yapping to a friend about the idea. If you're watching this, hi bestie. And he goes, oh, do you know what that reminds me of? Anyways, keeping that in mind, and also just generally because I grew up, I kept slowly aging up the characters to the point where they're university age now. Less high school drama, more navigating early adulthood, and also training and fighting crimes. That bit is a constant. So, now that we've gone over the lore and premise, it's time for the fun bit. We're gonna start off with the protagonist of the story, my boy Ernst B. Whitford, or Ern for short. Side note, for these characters in particular, most of the personality and backstory details remain basically unchanged. It's mostly just a slight visual redesign because, I love them. Okay, back to it now. Ern is from a prestigious family and he's the youngest child out of 4. He comes from a long line of people who are famous and talented, while he's honestly just kinda there. It's not like he's bad at things, it's more like he's a jack-of-all-trades type. He's okay to slightly above average at quite a few things, while his siblings excel at one particular thing. Though, what he has isn't effortless. He got that way because he works really hard at everything, even to the point of literal collapse. And to make things worse, his immediate older brother, I should actually redesign him, let me know if you'd like to see that, who is the only other person in his family to have powers, is considered one of the strongest current spark bearers. Whereas Ern didn't even have his powers fully developed until much later than what is considered normal. All of this to say that Ern has a crazy inferiority complex. On that note, let's talk powers. Ern has photomancy as a power, which manifested as him being uncontrollably luminescent, like he'd just be glowing sometimes. It was extremely underwhelming. But as he grew and experienced certain canon events, he gained control of it, and as of the start of the story, he can shape light at will. He still glows involuntarily sometimes, particularly when he's excited or emotional. Personality-wise, he's generally pretty positive and energetic despite the whole inferiority complex thing. He's friendly and outgoing, but despite his extrovertedness, he's quite, socially awkward. His defining trait when I write him is that he's the yapper. He talks a lot. He tries to keep it in check, but to no avail. No matter if he's happy, angry, sad, nervous, especially when he's nervous, his ass will be yapping. Looking back on it now, I think it's giving undiagnosed ADHD. Now, for the redesign, I kept a lot of the elements I liked from his earlier iterations, like his little light freckles, the cat eyes, his love of sweatshirts, all that good stuff. The main thing I changed was his hair, making it more of a proper afro. He used to have a beater mark on his face, but I scrapped that because I give those to a lot of characters. Well, that's it on Ern for this video. Now, moving on from a guy that's generally a green flag to one of the reddest flags I've ever picked up. Leonardo Valenti. I swear, everyone I've yapped about this man to just felt a shiver go down their collective spines. Leonardo sucks. He sucks. No, you can't fix him. I don't think anyone can. If you have tried in canon, but it just never works. He's a classmate of Ern's in the special government-endorsed training program they're in, who took an interest in Ern because, basically, Leo and Ern's aforementioned older brother, seriously, let me know if you want to hear more about him, have history. Take that however you will. Backstory-wise, there's a lot going on, so I'll try to summarize. Leonardo was the illegitimate son of a wealthy and influential businessman who wasn't the best father, putting things lightly. Eventually, as a kid, Leonardo tries to run away, and this escape attempt ends up with his father, passing away. Since it was directly caused by Leo's powers, he ends up at a facility for wayward spark bearers in solitary confinement. Except, it isn't actually solitary. There's another kid there, and the two end up becoming close friends. Side note, the kid in question is genuinely one of my favorite OCs, but it isn't about him today. Sorry, Zircon. Unfortunately, this doesn't end well, because he gets taken out of the facility by the director of the aforementioned training program, and in the process of trying to leave, he and Zircon get into a huge fight that ends with both of them trying to kill each other. And he keeps all of that a secret, so only people who are personally there, and also the director, know about any of it. We're all caught up? Good? Good. So, about those powers. Leonardo's powers allow him to disrupt the functioning of any system, provided he understands how it works. It mostly manifests as him messing with electronics, but unknown to a majority of people he interacts with, it also affects biological functions. Naturally, after all of that, he's incapable of being normal. He's very logical and intelligent, but he's also a very, screw around and find out kind of guy. You know, the true scientific method. He will just do things, just to see what happens. He enjoys messing with people, pushing their buttons, and just generally causing problems on purpose. He has 97 mental illnesses and is banned from most public places. No, seriously. There's an ever-growing list of places where he's not allowed to go, and he's proud of that. Somehow. His, let's go with eccentricities aside. He's really good at being charming. There are people who don't trust him, as well as people who straight up hate him, but for the most part, he has a lot of admirers. And well, I likes that fact. The guy loves to flirt and has had many partners. Though usually he doesn't do much more than casual flings. For his design, not much has changed. I just yassified him a bit. The biggest change is the scar on the right side of his face. It's always been there as a result of his backstory, though the size and placement has varied over time. This time around, I made it bigger and also made the decision to include his right eye in the injury. That eye is a different color because it's actually a prosthetic. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that choice. I think it says a lot more than a smaller scar. So, there you have it, guys. Our wonderful revived boys. Like I said before, I really like this project, so it's fun to go back and give them a fresh new coat of paint. Again, there are a lot of characters I made for it back in the day, so if any of you would like to see more, do let me know. But that's all for now. If you liked the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and such like. And as 5 wise women said, I'll talk to you later. Bye!